Hi, I'm Ellen Lutz, the Health Sciences Librarian at University of Massachusetts Amherst. This is my Spring 2020 Getting to Know the New PubMed workshop. PubMed, the original PubMed launched as an experimental website in 1996, and there have been a few tweaks, but no major updates until this new version. There are over 30 million articles in PubMed. About 90% of those have the enhanced Medline indexing, which means that researchers or librarians, folks that work for the National Libraries of Medicine have gone through those articles and assigned mesh headings and added some other enhancements to make those articles easier to find and to be able to use some of the filters. There are more than 2 million people a day who use PubMed, so it is a very popular database. The new version has new display, navigation, and output features. The responsive site, so for the mobile experience, makes it a whole lot better. And it's the same PubMed database, but there are new retrieval features. So just to give an overview of those, and then I'll be showing some of those as we go in and do the demo. There is enhanced synonymy, so it does a better job of recognizing word variations and word endings. That mapping is way better than the previous version. There's unlimited truncation. If you have used the asterisk to truncate terms, sometimes you'll notice that it will stop after the old version. I think it's 100 or 200 or some limited number of results, but now with the new PubMed, they'll show all of them to you. There is an enhanced mapping of British to American spellings. So an example is orthopedic, either with the E for the American English version or the AE with the British English, and that's the example I'm going to use, so I'll show that a little bit later. Just improved sensors and best match, so it brings the best results to the top. As far as the timing, originally it was supposed to be sometime in spring of 2020. It's now spring, and PubMed, the new PubMed is still not the default, but at some point it will become, when you go to PubMed.gov, it will become the default interface, but there will still be a link to get you back to the legacy version. That's what we're calling the old version now. And they'll run in parallel for several months before the legacy version is retired. They do intend to kind of have this always be evolving. So it's not just the front end that looks different, but a lot of the architecture on the back end to make it easier for them to make some of those updates. Right now, it's just the PubMed database itself that is updated. But additionally, they're still going to be working on searching the mesh database, the National Library of Medicine catalog for some of those NLM bookshelf books, and the journal list. Those are all still in the old interface. Clinical queries, single citation manager and batch citation manager are also to come. If you have a MyNCBI account, you don't need to worry. Right now, those links still, they'll just still do the search and they're directing to the old PubMed, but after they finish all of these enhancements, then it will also direct to the new PubMed. So the saved searches and the alerts that you have won't need to be recreated. There's also a new PubMed API, so if you use that, which is not something I do, so I'm not so familiar, but there is a new API that allows you to retrieve things that way better as well. In the demo the webinar that I went to, they mentioned that the PubMed best practices have not changed. They still recommend you just enter your search terms in the search box, be specific, don't use punctuation, don't use search tags, don't use Boolean operators, so your and or nots, and avoiding truncation in that box, and then just letting the citation sensor and title sensor work for you. There is still the advanced search, so if you like to have a little more control, I will show that to you. So now I'm going to pop over, share my screen, and we'll do a live demo. So while you're part of the UMass Amherst community, you still want to make sure that you're going through the library's homepage to get to PubMed. So under databases and collections, we have the link here under popular databases to get to PubMed. As I said, right now you're still getting to the old version of PubMed, but there's this lovely big blue bar at the top here that you can click on to get into the new PubMed interface. So here it is. It looks a little bit cleaner. Again, all the functionalities here, there's FAQ and user's guide. So if you want a little bit more about that, to learn a little bit more about PubMed, the advanced search will be in the new PubMed, but the clinical queries, citation matchers, mesh database and journals, those are all still, will redirect you to the old version. There's still the articles or the options for trending articles and latest literature. Just shows you new articles that are from some of their most highly accessed journals. So using the single search bar here, I am going to search for orthopedic. Let's do orthopedic surgery, just so I don't get quite as many results. And here is then my result set. You'll see, yes, it looks a little bit different. It does give you the number of results. And one of the things you'll notice underneath each article, there is a cite. So yes, new PubMed has some citation management built into it, or citations built into it. Only a few formats, or 4, I guess. So there's AMA format, American Medical Association, MLA, Modern Language Association, APA, American Psychological Association, and the NLM format, which from what I've looked at looks like it's AMA, only it includes the PMID at the end. One thing I will point out is that I've noticed that the citations aren't quite right. All the information you need is there, as within a lot of the databases that we have. The information you need to cite is there, but in APA format, which is the one I'm most familiar with, I think I looked in AMA and it does the same thing. They seem to have the algorithm switched so that for the article title, instead of only the first word being and important words being capitalized, they've got every word capitalized. And then for the journal title, they have just the first word. So those are some capitalizations that you'll need to fix when you're citing, but they are available, and you can copy the citation right from there. You can download an NBIB file, which is what you use for citation managers, and there's another way you can do that to get more that I'll show in a minute. There are also ways that you can share. So if you want to tweet about or share on Facebook, those are the 2 that are currently built in. You can do that right from here using those buttons, or you can get the permalink, which that's a static URL that will take the people you share it with or yourself back to that article. I'm going to go ahead and open one of the articles, and one of the things that it has, the layout of the article, citation information at the top, so it still has the journal title and that information here, the title of the journal or the article, authors, affiliations, abstract. One of the things they've added is they have additional similar articles are a little bit easier to find. They used to be tucked over here on the right, but they're here. There's more. They've enhanced that. They will also show you citations from PubMed Central if there are articles that have cited this article that are indexed in PubMed Central. They will be there. So the rest of that is pretty much the same. One of the things that's nice is you can quickly navigate from one result to the next. And if you hover, it will show you a preview of the next article. So you can go through there. With some articles, that will show highlighted here at the top the type of article that it is. So this is a review article, another review article, some of the comment. So there are the different types of articles that you have available, or the highlighted the publication type. If I go back to the search results, over here on the left, you'll notice there is an expanded results by year. So it will show you that the first article that meets this, it was in 1863, and the trend goes up. Lots of things got, there are more journals being published, more articles being published over the last, 50 years or so. So pretty much every topic I have searched on here has seen sort of this exponential growth, which for citation or for articles, that's not a bad thing. If you want, you can download that results file as a comma separated value, so as a file that Excel can read. We have the text availability filters. So again, while you're in UMass Amherst, I don't recommend ever using any of these full text limiters because that limits you to only the articles that PubMed thinks you have access to. A new article attribute is associated data. And you have article types, the publication year. So a lot of the same filters. You can get to additional, oh, sex is not usually there. Additional filters, this is laid out a little bit different. I think it's a little more intuitive that you can, so I chose male, but I can click, those are the two that I want to show. And so maybe I also want to show age categories. I have to click the ones that I'm interested in. So let's say I want all of these child-related ones. And then again, you click to apply those filters. So the default sort now is sorting by best match, which I think is what maybe the old PubMed ended up with. But if you want to change that, this gear icon gives you options. The default view is that you're just seeing the summary, but if you want the full abstract to be displayed, here it is. I don't like that because it just tends to make my result set look bigger. So I actually prefer the summary view. But then you can also change here if you want to sort by the most recent, the publication date. There is a difference between those. I haven't quite figured out exactly what those are, but I think it's the most recent is the most recently, when it was indexed in PubMed, which may not be the same as the publication date. You can also change here if you want to see more than 10 results per page. I kind of like 20, so I can change that. You also have the buttons across the top here to quickly do something with your results set. Both save and email are the options. One of the things that I think is great is that not only can you do all the results on the page, but you can actually do, for your selection, items that you've selected, but you can do all your results in one save. I think it does limit to 5,000. But the old version, it was a max of 200 at a time. So this is definitely an enhancement there. The way that you can save those is as a summary text, the abstract text as a comma separated value, and then PubMed, PMID, those are formats that are used by National Library of Medicine. So you can then create the file. The same with email, you have the same options that you can do all the results on the page, all the results in the selection, and you have a few different formats that you can use for that. If you want to save it to your clipboard, oops, let me take email off. You can save to your clipboard, and that just is a temporary place to save. If you save to clipboard, it gives you a clipboard option underneath the, let's go ahead and send those to clipboard. We'll just do the all results on the page. So then I have a clipboard that is a clipboard link that is available for me here. You can also send to your bibliography or collections. For both of those, you need to have a My NCBI account. Those are features that are available there to let you keep track of searches you do. And then this is also where you can export your whole result set or a good chunk of your result set to a citation manager. Again, you have the option, all results on the page, all results, or just a selection. And it's going to save it as an NCBI, an NBIB, yeah, I can talk, an NBIB format. And that is a PubMed specific format. So in your citation manager, sometimes you have to then make that association. But the reason they use this NBIB format, or one of the features of that, is it helps you keep the diacritics that are in authors' names or some of the punctuation that might be in the title or the names of chemicals, things like that. So after you've done your search, then you have just as you did before, the create alert underneath the search bar. So you have that too, if you want to have an automatic alert when new articles are indexed that meet your search criteria. Obviously, with this general of a search, I wouldn't want to do that. So, oops, let's see. So I'm going to go now into the advanced search, which is available. It still lets you specify if you want to search in particular fields or to build your search, you can do that. And you'll see here underneath in the history and search details, it has my searches here. This has got search number 0. This is something that it just recently added, is your clipboard. So I can, again, easily get back to those clipboard items. One of the nice things about the advanced search, the details, I think it was there, but it wasn't as easy to get. I can click here to see exactly how PubMed interpreted my search. So I typed in orthopedic surgery, again, with pedic being the orthopedic, doing the American English spelling, but here you'll see it does, okay, it searched the British English spelling, or orthopedics is the mesh term. So it picked out all of those things, and it will then tell you if you have multiple terms, if you have a more complicated search, it will show you how each term in your search was translated. So that's kind of nice. And then, second, scrolling to my notes, if you want to build the query, you can. So if I were doing instead, so say I want to do orthopedic surgery, you can add that to your search box and build it as you go. And let's say ankle. Now I'm going to add it with and. You can also choose to add it with or with not. You can either run the search directly, or you can just add it to your history. So then you can see, okay, here's the results that I had. Again, if I look at the details, since I have more terms, it will show me, all right, here is how it translated ankle. So ankle and ankle joint and ankles. You can also, if you want, you can download your history as a CSV file, and it will also include the search details will be one of the fields that it tracks. So that's nice that you have that you can review on. So that's my brief introduction to the new PubMed. If you want to learn more, please reach out to me, lutz@umass.edu, and I look forward to your questions. Thank you.